All right, in today's video adventure, we are going to be talking about motion graphs. First, it's important to understand that all motion can be represented using a graph. We are going to talk about three main types of graphs today. The first type of motion graph that we're going to talk about is called a position time graph. A position time graph shows you an object's location compared to a reference point. A reference point can be anything. It can be an object, a location. Like if you're going to the bathroom from your classroom could be a reference point. And this graph here would show you your position away from the reference point, the classroom, over a period of time. It shows you how far away you travel during a set amount of time, if you travel any further, and when you travel back. The second type of graph is called a distance time graph. Distance graphs do not show a reference point. They don't compare motion to a reference point, but instead they show the total distance covered over time. So they show you how far you travel over a certain amount of time, which is called speed. You can actually calculate speed from a distance time graph because distance is on the y-axis, time is on the x-axis, and if you take distance divided by time, you can find the speed at every single one of these points. The last type of graph is called a speed time graph. A speed graph shows how fast an object moves over time. For example, if you're riding your bike at 10 miles an hour and stop to talk to a friend, then ride off at 15 miles an hour, a speed graph would show this motion. So a speed graph shows a change in speed over time, speed being on the y-axis, time being on the x-axis. And so when it shows you how speed changes over time, that's called acceleration. So distance time graph shows you speed, speed time graph shows you acceleration, and you can actually, like you could with distance time, you can calculate acceleration from a speed time graph as well. You can also just make observations, like for example here, from A to O, I see that this object is increasing speed, so it's accelerating here, but from point A to B, it's not accelerating, it's staying at a constant speed, and then from B to C, it's actually going slower. Those are the three basic motion graphs, but what's important to remember is that what you are trying to demonstrate or measure will determine which graph is best. So depending on whether you're trying to show acceleration, speed, or just position in relation to a reference point, that's the type of graph that you'll pick based on what you're trying to show. And the other thing that's important is that time is always on the x-axis. Other than that, that's the end of our adventure. Have a great day.